Don't ever seem to ever remember... How does he say it now? Don't ever seem to remember ever owning a droid. Very interesting. I think we better get indoors. The Sand People are easily startled, but they'll soon be back, and in greater numbers. And this is only one Kenobi, only one. And I'm going to say this is my 40th video. My 40th video, which is quite interesting really, because I'm glad it's R2-D2 I wanted to talk about. I decided to do a video on R2-D2. I don't normally do reviews, by the way, of figures like this. I usually just do discussions of the vintage collection line, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I wanted to review this figure because I've just opened it, because I have 3 of these now, for one reason or another. I'll also explain more about that in a moment. But I thought to myself, well, my first ever video was on R2-D2 anyway. So I looked at my videos list and I saw I was on 39. I thought, well, brilliant. My next one's going to be my 40th. And it's the 40th anniversary of Star Wars this year. And I'm back on R2 again. Because I want to talk about this R2-D2 and how good it is. Because, honestly speaking, I went on YouTube the other day to find a review of this before I opened him. And I couldn't find one. I think there might have been something, I can't remember. It was a hard search though. There wasn't anything specific. No one had gone out their way to like do a video of Vintage Original Trilogy Collection R2 and then show you it. So I'm doing one now. So you're one of 2 people watching this video. You're either a subscriber of mine, welcome back, hello again, or you're a first time viewer who wants to watch a review of this. So please hang fire, I will show you in a moment. Excuse me, itching my nose there. But, so R2-D2, my first ever video was on R2. Like I say, I speculate about the vintage collection. They announced that they are bringing it back, which kick-started my whole YouTube channel because, as you can see, I'm a carded collector. I'm quite proud of my collection. And in the vintage collection, they give you classic cardbacks or bring them back, and they give you brand new cardbacks. Now, specifically examples of those 2 criteria or 2 types would be this. This is a returning cardback from the 1980s. It's Leia Bespin, but this is not a 1980s card, as in, this is not from the 80s, this is 2010, because the figure inside is an updated version of the figure but the card back is a complete re-release. Then you've got figures like this, which is a Sand Trooper. And they never released a Sand Trooper in the 1980s, but the style of packaging is of the 1980s, but the figure itself is brand new, and the cardback is new, of 2012. And then of course you get figures in the vintage collection which are totally new, like stuff from Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones 2002, and Revenge of the Sith 2005, and the Clone Wars 2008, and then they're going to bring out Rogue One, and they're going to bring back Force Awakens. They're going to make cardbacks for them. But classic cardbacks, which are ones they could bring back, they haven't. And I can't get over it. I want them to bring it back. There's a chance they will, because they're bringing back the vintage line. I hope they bring us this one, because we haven't seen that cardback since the 80s. As I say, the first ever video on my channel, I discussed this R2-D2. The quality of that video was rubbish because I used a laptop camera from 2009. My laptop's rubbish. It looks like a Nokia kind of quality camera. Anyway, so I love this card back and I hope they bring it back. And they did actually use this image of R2 in the 40th anniversary 6-inch line. So there's a chance they might give us that in 3 3/4 inch. Hopefully they will. I have 2 of these, by the way. They're from a restoration kit. One's Palatoy. The other is Kenner. Just a bit of fun really. I have them on display in a separate section of my house. Not here, in a separate section where I have my sort of restored classic figures. So anyway, for one reason or another, I have 3 of these guys. This is from the VOTC of 2004, which was the first sort of wave of figures in a line where they used classic Kenner cardbacks again, like post-1980s era. And it's great. It was the prelude to the vintage collection. And I have 3 of them. The first ever one is the one I've opened. And the reason I have 3 is because I'm just a collector. I found the deals on eBay and I bought them. The first ever one is the worst condition one I have, and it's why I've opened it, because just to let you know and give you the heads up, if you're someone watching this who's thinking of buying this figure, be wary, because he yellows really badly. And this is the worst one I have that has yellowed, or that is the worst yellowed one I have. The best one I have is this one here, which I keep in a Protect Star case, by the way. Protect Star cases are the best. They're nice and crystal clear, they're really lovely. Any figure that's from the VOTC came in a star case, and I'll show you it now. Bear with me a minute. This is the one I've opened, and that's the case it came in, which is quite nice that it comes in a protective case. However, I don't ever display them in these cases. I often take them out. I always take them out, because generally the conditions of these cases are appalling anyway, because I think they were actually hanging in shops like this. So they will have a lot of battle damage, should we say, aging, scratching damage, and they've also got horrible sellotape on them as well. So if I ever get a figure like that, I always remove it and put it in a beautiful Protect Star case. So, hang on a minute. I just wanted to say that I haven't chucked away this card back because I want to keep it. It only cost £20, this figure, when I got it. And I just thought, well, I want to have it loose. So I want to have a look at this R2 and see how good it is, which I'm going to... Stay tuned, I'm going to show you in a moment. But I want to keep this card back because I might do something with it. I carefully opened it so you can't really tell that it's been opened. I've not ripped anything. And I might put an old R2 in there just for fun. A random R2-D2 figure, put him in there. And then, I'd say I'd get the 1980s one with the removable lightsaber. He costs a fortune on eBay. He must have been rare. You can't even tell it's, see, so I've opened that quite well, haven't I? But I might put an old R2 in there just for fun. Recard an old figure. So anyway, let's go back to this fella loose. So as I say, he does yellow pretty badly. This was the worst one I've got. If you look at the paneling, you might not be able to tell, but he has got yellowing all around the paneling and even on the back, which is a surprise because you'd think if he's got his back to the cardboard, and if it's sunlight that makes plastic yellow, why is the back yellow? Because he surely would have had his back to the sunlight. But anyway, so he's yellow all around. What was I going to say there? This one isn't as bad. This one is slightly better. I might sell this one eventually on eBay. Look at that leg there, though. Can you see there's yellow in here? And there isn't yellow in there. It's almost like two teeth and one of them is going yellow. But yeah, he's got yellowing. And as I say, the best one is the one I keep in the Protect Star case. Best of three. I'm going to keep that one. And I've opened this one because I wanted to have him loose. Just to be aware as well, you might not be able to tell in this video how yellow he is, and it's quite funny that when you get him under electronic lighting, the yellowing isn't that bad. As I say, you might not be able to see it. I've got the accessories in, I'll show you them in a moment. Let's talk about the yellowing still. But when you get this figure in the daylight, under natural daylight, the yellowing is like awful. Like when I first got this through the post, I opened my packet and I thought, oh my God, I felt like I'd been duped, because in the photographs he looked fine, but he's appalling. And as I say, this one, even he's got a bit of yellowing. So I think if you're going to buy this on eBay, ask questions, ask the seller what's going on with the yellowing. This is the best one, as I say, for whatever reason, but they all apparently they're all pretty bad actually. So but no, out of the packaging, it's a really good figure. Let's go on to him now. He's got a shiny dome, just like the classic R2 of the 1980s, which is always nice. He's got these two accessories here, which you can see in the bottom of the packet there, and he has an extra panel so you can fit the accessories on. I'm going to put the actual panel on in a moment, because I might not display him like that. I just thought I'd just show you the accessories just to start the review and then move on. What else was I going to say? It's quite difficult. I've got 10,000 things going through my mind here of what I want to say. The articulation of any R2 figure is very limited. However, it feels like a really well-made figure because there's something firm about the movement of him. You can remove this third tri-leg or whatever you want to call it. It's quite stiff. That's just good actually. It's firm and secure. Get him out there. So if you want to display him on two legs, you can. The Kenny Baker stance. And yeah, that's it.
what I'll do now is I'll remove these panels out. The two accessories you get are the data stick thing there. Log in. You should be able to tap into the entire Imperial network or whatever. And then this, the R2. I don't think that's such a good idea. It's a very long draw. And then the Ewoks come out. You know what I'm on about. So now then, I've taken the accessories out, and now what I'll do is I'll replace that panel, and you'll really see the yellowing now. Check this out. If I put that panel in, if I hold that against the, can you see? That must be a different type of plastic, because it hasn't yellowed, that plastic, and all around it is really yellowing. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, if you check out a guy called Toypaloy, his channel, there's a plug for you. He tells you how to restore classic figures, but mainly 80s figures, because they are the ones that really yellow. But obviously this goes to prove that figures from the modern line, even in the VOTC, yellow, even in the blooming packaging. So I might see if I can experiment and put them in that solution. Is it some sort of peroxide? I can't remember what it is, but you leave it out in the sun and it gets rid of the yellowing. I don't think I'm going to do that now, because we're in the winter months, and I think that it's not going to work, is it? I need to wait for the sunshine to come out, because you've got to leave it out in the sun for a couple of days. It's ironic, isn't it, that the sun is what makes them yellow, and the sun is what you need to get rid of it. Funny, isn't it? So that's all I really want to say. I don't want to waffle on far too long, but this has been my 40th video, so that's quite exciting. I've got about 60 plus subscribers now. Thank you if you've watched this and you're new, because you've been wanting to try and find a review of the VOTC R2-D2. I hope I've covered everything. Oh, I'll show you another feature. If you turn his head, his little thing comes up there as well, and he's one of these R2-D2s that have got an LED eye. Now, lots of features of R2s get recycled a lot. I mean, I've seen that before in the Saga Legends line, that sort of that eye. I've seen one battery operated that lights up, which is inaccurate because his eye never lit up. But this is one that lets light in the top. If only I had a little torch now, I could shine it in, and it makes it glow a bit, you know, a bit like the Power of the Force. Jawa's eyes did that. So it's a decent figure, but I still think that this is the best. And this was in the, as I say, I opened it because I was intrigued, and I did fancy having another loose R2 because I don't have many loose. But this is a classic. This is a brilliant one. This one now. This is the Vintage Collection VC25. And I think it's worthy of a repack, that one, because it is brilliant. Loads of accessories. They could probably release that. As I said in my first ever video, my video number 1 about R2-D2, they could release that, minus the drinks rack, and put it on that classic cardback. I really hope they do that. I'd be happy with that, because it's a good figure. You know, why? What's the phrase now? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I can't remember now. If it ain't broke, well, I've got to 12 minutes. I'm cocking it up at the end. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm digging a hole here. So, thank you very much for watching. I do want to say one more thing, actually. Bear with me, don't get bored. The shininess of the helmet, as I say, it gives me lovely nostalgic feelings of the very first ever R2-D2, which had a shiny dome. We all know that. There he is there. But I wanted to say about R2 versus 3PO and shininess. I can't really reference R2 in a movie being shiny compared to throughout the saga, whereas 3PO you can. Everyone knows that 3PO was shiny on the end of New Hope, and in Revenge of the Sith they polished him up as well, because he was in his prime in that movie. Time to shine, or whatever they said about him. But with R2, I suppose they might have polished him up at the end of A New Hope. But apart from that, I don't really remember him being dull or shiny in any specific moment, really. He just always seemed the same. More of a kind of a matte finish like that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Where was R2 shiniest? Let me know if you know that. But anyway, there's something about that dome. I love it. It's nice. Any of the ones that are shiny I like, because it reminds me of the very first Kenner one. Good God, I'm nearly on 15 minutes here, so I'm going to wrap this up now. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one out. I lost R2! I can't do that, Squid. My voice is too dry. Thanks for watching. Only One Kenobi out.